Alright guys, how you going? Mason Corby from Downunder here again with another video for you. So this is another incident video that I have. I wasn't actually on this incident, I was on the ground when this happened, but the guys have been nice enough to give me their footage so I can debrief it. Pretty hectic, something that can be unfortunately very common with the jumps we do. I packed my parachute a certain way because of this exact reason, which I have gone over in a previous containers video. I will do another video specifically on that itself. It's a bunny tail method. So let's crack on with it. He's had a bit of a premi. Alright, so climbing out, they're doing a flat jump. Boom, getting out of the plane, and something's going back. Boom! What happened there? What the fuck's going on? Let's watch that again. Alright, so he's climbing out of the plane, and wham! Whee! Have him quick. Let's watch that a bit slower, shall we? Alright, so frame by frame, boom, launched, gone over the tail, that's his pilot chute. If you see here, his pilot chute, look at that new cursor, eh? His pilot chute's actually stuck in the flap of the plane. It's ripped off. The bridle's over there, there's his D-bag that's been snapped here. It's pretty full on, eh? Guys are still on the door. So he's actually gone over the tail there. So that's not cool. Something's happened where he's got a premi, ripped him out the door, and over the tail he goes. Imagine if he hit the tail and ripped the tail off. Imagine if the freaking canopy inflated and wrapped around the tail and ripped it off. Everyone fell out of the sky. It'd be hectic. Alright, so let's see how he went over that plane, that tail for once. So what happens when the pilots are actually descending when you're getting out of the plane? They're not meant to be going up, they're meant to be descending. So that way if something happens, you go under the tail of the plane, okay? So usually the first group and the last group is going to be getting out. Now this plane's not descending. If anything, he'd be closer more to stalling. If that is happening, he'd be more stalling like this as he's going down rather than slight diving. So you can see here the tail's way lower than the wings itself, okay? So this is number one. So if he does have a premi, that's not cool. Okay, so you should talk to your pilots because sometimes they don't know. Sometimes they're flying the plane, they think they're diving, and it's not. This is not the case. Okay, so ideally all planes, especially with the tail this high, they want to be in some sort of a dive. Okay, that way if something happens, that is less likely. Now the pilot said on his way down he felt something was caught and he couldn't really shake it and he wasn't sure. So when they got down there was no pilot chute in the flaps back here. Okay, that had fallen out, must have dislodged. But imagine if that had been caught in there. Now his steering's gone, he's stuffed. Hectic. Cool, so he does end up chopping, cuts away, gets out. I think he was pretty shocked at the moment. I'm not going to mention names, whoever, any of this stuff, where it was at, anything like that. Some people will be able to tell pretty easy where it's at. So he tries to kick out of it for a fair while. I wouldn't be looking up. I just chop, but 14,000 feet, you got time, you know. It's you had quite a large canopy, so it's not spinning him to the point where he's going unconscious. You can still see he's conscious. All right, yep, giving up on that. Let's get off. Boom. Oh, there it is. So he ripped some lines and stuff like that as well. Pretty gnarly, hey? Poor dude, he was pretty shaken too when he got down. I don't blame him. Okay, so this could happen. So let's look at why this happened. All right, so the opening the door, out they climb. Boom. Stood in the camera step. Okay. It's old mate there. I know who you are. You know. Whoop. Okay, so this here is the person that went over the flap. As I said, I won't mention names of anyone on this. So you can see his flap's already open. Okay, so the flap most likely would have opened by when it scraped across someone at this point here, okay, and that could have popped it. Okay, either that or the flap would have been popped inside. So it's extremely important you check your flaps before you get out, make sure that's good, pins in, I'm good. When you're getting out of the plane, the way he got out here was correct. Rigs to the center and everyone climbing out. You just want to be really hyper aware at this point of climbing out of all placements of your body, of your rig, of your arms, of your hand, anything connected to you, rubbing on someone else. You should be hyper vigilant at this stage, okay? If anything, not turning and scraping, pivot so you're out, and then kind of pushing backwards out, okay? Still, you don't want to push backwards on anything, just your way out that way, so your pin's in the center. So he scraped that there. I'm guessing alongside this person in the yellow. Now the flap could have caused tension, but as you can see now it just popped. So it's kind of popped open. It could have been because it's exposed to the wind to the side. There might have been a fair bit of bridle. It could have been loose, the pin could have been loose, all sorts of things like this. So at this point here, if I was the person who's filming, you want to be probably noticing what's going on and going, oh shit, get off the plane, and like shoving him off, or like grabbing him and tackling him out, or warn an old mate here, the yellow, to get back in, like, get in for a second, and then getting rid of the problem, pushing him down under that wing, yeah. Boom. All right, once it comes here, there's not much you can do. Ugh, squash poor old mate in the hangs. What the fuck's going on? Oh, you prick. Boom. So he climbed on. He probably just thought, oh mate, he just punched him in the face. He's like, what do you want, mate? What was that? Okay, now, if this is you and you look back and you see something over the tail and you've just seen someone go, the very first thing, especially if something's still connected to the plane, the very first thing you should do is tell everyone to get the fuck out of the plane. Tell everyone, yell in, someone's gone over the tail, get the fuck out of the plane. Because if they're all still in it, it ain't good. Bad things can happen. They can get stuck in there pretty bad, and they're all going, if it starts spinning, starts stalling, you want to, like, obviously listen to the pilot. Someone's gone over the tail, I'd get out. I wouldn't sit back and unfortunately do another count. Okay, that's what happens here. So I'm not going to name names or anything like this because it wasn't on this jump. It's not my footage. But you should not be setting up for another count. You should be saying get out of the plane very quickly, okay? Because that tail could be compromised in its structure of integrity, and you want to also let all the others know on the plane and the pilot. So the pilot didn't have a clue what happened. When he landed, he didn't know. He just felt this bump, and he landed. It wasn't until he landed and the people said, no. Someone went over the wing. We had to go up. I was on the next load and we went up and told the pilot someone got on the wing, and then we were standing there to board, and then not got up in that. We want to check that. Yeah, make sure that's safe. So the a couple of things to take from this. Pin safety, flap safety before, during exit, really be aware of that, okay? Number 2, look after your buddies, okay? Check other buddies' pins, make sure you protect them on the way out. You can even put your hand over someone's rig and help them, guide them out. I do that regularly, okay? People standing up in the door, they're hyper aware, you start talking and they're like, what, huh? Yeah, my flap, what, huh? And all of a sudden you're freaking 2 miles deep because all mate's trying to check his flap the whole time, then gets out of the plane anyway. So just help them out, let them know when they get down, don't have to yell at them. If something does happen when they go over the wing, okay, or something like that happens when they hit the wing, communication, let everyone know in the plane, hey, someone's gone over the wing, get the fuck out. And let the pilot know as well. Yeah, pass it up to the pilot, so all of a sudden he's just not left in the plane with not knowing what's going on with his aircraft. These things happen. It's part of skydiving, unfortunately. Okay, oh yeah, let the pilot know about that thing too, if you see it. Cool. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys. It's a bit interesting. So yeah, like and subscribe if the content was good and you found it informative. The more subscribers I have, I hate doing this shit, but the more I have, the easier it is to keep doing these, because I'm not taking anything from it, but it would be lovely in the future too. So cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Enjoy.